You forgive me, but have you half a crumb?
Oh.
We seem to be the only two traveling. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Pleasure.
Well, of course, I'll find someone to replace Mr. Shepherd right away. Yes, you leave it to me, Mr. Lodge. I'll be in touch. Yes. Goodbye.
Will we start in the hall?
Yes, that's fine. I'm sorry nothing's ready, but I didn't expect you for another couple of weeks.
Well, you know how it is. We like to fit things in.
Oh, please, the place needs doing so badly.
Where can I get some water?
In the kitchen.
Always at it, aren't you, Dave? Always likes to show us up, eh?
There's that door over there. What was all that about?
Man, I know, James Lodge runs a printing works in the city. Last night, the secretary accountant of his firm fell on the rails at Covent Garden Tube Station.
That's terrible.
Yes, it seems he'd bent down to pick up some coins he'd dropped, tripped or something. Lodge was in the process of turning his firm into a public company, so I've got to find a replacement double quick.
Now then, Speedy Gonzales, watch the carpets.
Won't you stay and have some coffee?
No, I'd better be getting back to the office.
Oh, sorry to bother you. I wonder if I might phone the works. I'll need some taller ladders. I didn't realize that your ceilings were so high.
Yes, of course.
I'll ask them to take 4p off the bill.
I'll pick you up at 7:30 then.
Okay, fine.
Oh, Jeffrey's here. Oh, look, I shall need some taller ladders. Yes. You know the address? Okay.
Oh, how about some coffee?
Oh, thank you very much.
Here we are.
Oh.
Will this be the ladders you asked for?
Oh, it could be. Mrs. Harriet.
Yes.
Wonder if I might talk to you for a moment.
Oh, what's it about?
About your brother-in-law.
Oh.
Drew Harriet.
Yes, well, you'd better come in.
Thank you so much. Oh, dear me, I seem to have called at an inconvenient moment. Perhaps I should have telephoned first.
Look, what about Drew, Mr...
Kennedy, Gerald Sean Kennedy. Sometime today, your brother-in-law will be telephoned by Mr. Lodge in connection
You've spoken to Mr. Lodge already.
Oh, good.
Look, is this about that terrible accident?
Well, in a way, yes. Mr. Lodge will require a replacement, won't he, for the man who died?
Well, I believe so, yes.
And he always goes to your brother-in-law's personnel selection firm for his executive staff.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Yes.
Are you sure this is to do with me?
Oh, absolutely. You see, I'd consider it a favor if you would kindly telephone your brother-in-law and get him to suggest me for the job.
Suggest you for the...
That's right, yes. I always think it's so much better if one get a personal introduction for these things, don't you? It's what the uninitiated call the old boy network, I believe, but I do hate these labels people put on everything.
Look, are you serious? You waltz in here calmly out of the blue and expect me to ring up my brother-in-law and suggest you for...
I think it's such a good idea. Don't you?
I don't know you, Mr. Kennedy.
Captain. Oh, that's if you prefer it. Ex-Tower of London Rifle Regiment.
But do you really expect me to recommend a perfect stranger?
I'm afraid I do. Yes.
Yes, well, I think I've had enough of all this. Why don't you try the labor exchange? Oh, will you please go? Just before you finally commit yourself, Mrs. Harriet, may I ask you a question? What
May I have an ashtray?
Look, Mr. Jeffries, will you help me, please? This man's making a nuisance of himself.
Oh, he is he?
Now, dear Mrs. Harriet, let's start all over again, shall we? Little demonstration, Davis. Good. Now, what's that silly little jingle? He sneered and thought it very low to toast the bride in H2O, so drinking H2SO4, he promptly fell dead on the floor. Now, H2SO4 is sometimes known as oil of vitriol, and you do know what oil of vitriol is, don't you? It's what jealous women used to throw in the faces of lovers who deceived them. Now, about this recommendation you're going to give me to your brother-in-law.
Anne, what the?
I'm sorry, I'm not feeling very well.
Why? What's the matter?
I don't know, it must be the paint or something.
Oh, we'll be finished very soon, Mrs. Harriet.
Do you mind going without me?
Well, can't be helped. Is there anything I can do?
No, nothing. Did you find someone for that job at Mr. Lodge's?
What job? Oh, yes, I'm seeing 3 possibles tomorrow. Look, Anne, isn't there something I can get? Medicine or some sort of special food?
I've got something. But, Drew, about that job.
Yes?
Well, a friend of mine called today. He's been abroad. His name's Gerald Kennedy. I'm afraid I promised him you'd see him tomorrow.
Well, you shouldn't have done that, Anne.
Look, he is a friend. He's a very good accountant. When he phoned, I must have been feeling dizzy or something. I had to put him off somehow.
Yes, well, look, don't worry about anything. Go to bed and have a good night's sleep. Or perhaps you better move into a hotel if it's going to affect you.
All right. You will see Gerald Kennedy tomorrow, won't you?
Yes, but go to bed. You won't be long, will you?
Well, off in a minute, sir.
No, I'll see them off. Go on, you'll be late.
Well, what do you think?
The qualifications are illuminating.
Please do be frank, Mr. Harriet. I'd like to know where I stand.
Well, I don't know what my sister-in-law told you, Mr. Kennedy, but on this form you filled out, you haven't... Well, you're just not right for a job as secretary and accountant. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I fell down quite a few jobs in my time. I kept the mess accounts when I was in the army. You'll find it all down there.
Have you any conception about what a company secretary has to do, Mr. Kennedy? We're not talking about ledger clerks now, you know.
Good heavens, I hope I don't look that sort. Not that there aren't some very decent chaps who are ledger clerks, but it's hardly my style.
Well, honestly, no, on this evidence, I don't think you could get a job as a ledger clerk. In experience of PAYE, your answer, nil. Corporation tax, nil. Last job, manager of a gambling casino.
Now you have to have a head for figures to do that.
Well, you're not a chartered accountant. You've never worked in an accounts office. The nearest you've come to it was a clerk in an estate agent's. I'm bewildered. What on earth makes you think you want a job like this, let alone what makes you believe you could hold it down?
Oh, it's the lure of the city, you know, something respectable.
You haven't got a chance.
Really? Not if you recommend me.
Well, I hope I've made myself absolutely clear. I'm not going to recommend you.
Oh, but I think you are. You do value your sister-in-law's safety, don't you? Now, if I don't get this job with Lodge, something extremely unpleasant will happen.
What do you mean? She said you were a friend of hers.
Did she? How inventive of her.
Where is Anne?
Well, haven't you heard from her?
Look, I'm sick of this. Do you mind getting the hell out of my office?
You know, old boy, you're being very dense about this.
Now, listen, honey. We don't want to hurt you. We just don't want any trouble, you know. No screaming, right?
Where are we?
Oh, will somewhere in London do?
It'll have to.
What happens to me?
Oh, prisoner of war. Released at the end of hostilities.
Hello?
all right. It's Kennedy. Right. Marble Arch 2996. Right.
That's my telephone number.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what do you want that for?
Oh, you'll see.
I don't know what you want that telephone number for. I don't share my flat with anyone. There won't be anybody there.
There will be.
Anne?
Marble Arch 2996.
Mr. Harriot, Mr. Kennedy will be calling to see you again. Yes, to fix up about that job. Now listen, I've got your sister-in-law here. Say something.
To... Magazine! Ah!
Magazine. Oh, I should have thought I was pure gold to a fellow like you, Harriet. I've had more jobs than Ted Dexter's had tests sent.
You've mentioned cricket before.
Oh, I'd much rather be at Lord's. Still, business first. Must say you're behaving very well over this. Oh, sorry. Like a fellow to place up to things, you know, straight bat and all that.
I've made out a new personnel form for you.
Oh, may I see?
Perhaps you'd better. Lodge will want to see it and he may question you.
What's this? Expected salary, 2,200 per annum. That's a bit low, old chap, isn't it?
It's what you'll be worth with the qualifications I've given you. It may surprise you, but it's quite a good figure.
Oh, well, you're the expert. Why is this a carbon copy?
It's for you. You'll have to learn it off by heart.
Now, just as long as you're sure it'll get me the job.
It will. You still haven't told me why you want this job.
No, I haven't. Have I? Incidentally, you better let me have some ready cash, you know, lunches and so forth. Now, that's very decent of you to accommodate me. It's funny to think of you and I working together, isn't it? You've been rather working against our people since that unfortunate incident with your brother.
You know, you seem to be rather different from the others.
Well, that's just the outward and visible. I always imagine myself a bit out of my time anyway.
Kennedy, what's going to happen?
I think that it's about time you phoned down Mr. Lodge.
Don't you see, you haven't got a chance.
Oh, now, we're working so well, aren't we? You're not going to spoil everything.
Jenny, get me Mr. Lodge, will you?
Of course, you know, they couldn't really have chosen better when they picked on me.
You mean Undermind?
Undermind. Is that what you call it? Oh, well, that'll do, I suppose, yes. Yes, you see, in a blanket selection, you're bound to get all sorts. You've met one or two of our people, haven't you?
I have.
Vicar, policeman, social worker. They're all right in their own way, I suppose. But you see, I was already a quarter of the way there. I was a bit of a professional. Rather a waster, I'm afraid. Don't know what would have become of me. Still, it's given me a purpose in life.
To murder people. You pushed that man Shepherd onto the tube line, didn't you?
It's an awfully quick death, you know, electrocution. They do it in America all the time.
Yes. Oh, hello, Mr. Lodge. I've got your man for you. Yes, first class.
That's the spirit.
Yes, I will. Oh, Gerald Sean Kennedy. All right, Mr. Lodge. Goodbye. He wants to see you today.
Well, we work very well together, don't we? Not so violent, my dear fellow. Now, my tie's crooked. What would the team say? They'd make me the 12th man.
We used to do this with broken glass out in the Congo. 2 or 3 guards on walking patrol could keep an eye on dozens of the black swine.
Get some more glasses.
And we got enough yet.
Look, I'll tell you when.
Yes, sir. Major.
Now, we're trying to make this as pleasant as we can for you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, every modern luxury.
Were you in the Congo, too?
Yes, mercenaries.
There's nothing mercenary about killing the blacks, chum. Don't forget, it's the new international sport.
Not blacks, Negroes.
Hell walks to me.
Now, look here, Davis. What's got into you since you came back to this country? You've done nothing but shoot your mouth off.
I thought this was the land of free speech. Ah, yes. Alice through the drinking.
Watch it! We've got a job to do. No drinking.
Just keeping my elbow in trim.
When did you come back from Africa?
Vietnam, sweetheart. We moved on there from the Congo. That's the one great thing about irregular armies. The loyalties are regular, too.
Look, when did you come back to this country?
2 weeks ago. Why?
I wanted to find out if you were the same as Kennedy.
Now, come on, Davis. You're not so hot at rope climbing. You better get some practice in.
Yes, it's very good bookkeeping.
Mr. Shepherd was an excellent accountant. You won't find anything to complain about.
Now, I understand from Mr. Harriet you're in the process of changing from a private to a public company.
Yes.
Now, procedures differ, of course, depending on the size of the concern, but what amount of authority will your registrar have? You see, in some companies he's subordinate to the secretary, and others he's responsible to the board of directors.
Our registrar would be of the subordinate kind.
I see.
Well, I'm very glad you could start so promptly, Mr. Kennedy. This will be your office. I'm sorry to bear down on you, but...
No, not at all. I quite understand. I'd like to start by going over last year's trading account. I've got the profit and loss, have I? Yes, here we are.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Please come to me as often as you want to. My office is just across the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Harriet, I'm very pleased.
Good.
Just the sort of man we want here. Obviously knows what he's doing.
I'm glad your firm's doing so well, Mr. Lodge. I mean, you must be to turn yourself into a public company.
7 subsidiaries now, you know. Not bad.
Not doing magazines yet.
No, still general printing.
Any government work?
Depends what sort you mean.
Oh, white papers, that sort of thing. Government secrets.
No, nothing like that. That's all handled by H.M. Stationery Office.
What about money? Stamps?
No, we haven't the right colour process for money, and stamps are very fiddly. Why do you ask?
Oh, I like to keep up on our clients' business.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Harriet. I trust we're fully staffed for some time.
Yes, I hope so.
I'd like you to get me all last year's accounts.
Yes, sir.
Hello, old chap. Trying to find out what I'm doing here. Look, leave well alone, my dear fellow, and thanks so much for all your help.
Could I have a look at your trade directory?
Certainly, sir. There you are.
I'm looking for shops in the London area.
What are you doing?
Well, I just thought I'd move the furniture about a bit, but it does look as though I better not disturb the decor.
Yes, it does need redoing, I'm afraid. It is a trifle grubby. Paint just doesn't last like it used to.
It's all the traffic, you know, the dust.
We did think of redecorating earlier this year. Shepherd got some estimates out. Bit too steep, I felt. £60 a room.
60? Good Lord, surely there was some mistake.
I saw the figures myself. We decided to leave it.
But, my dear, I know a firm. They've done quite a bit of work for me in the past. They're small, of course, but they make a perfect job of Windsor Castle. Now, I know they wouldn't charge more than 20 for a room this size.
Really? Well, that sounds very reasonable.
Well, finding reasonable ways of doing things is my business, Mr. Lodge.
Yes, of course.
Look, why don't I get them along here, let them do this room, and then if you like it, they can give you an estimate for the rest of the building.
Well, it certainly sounds like an economy. We shall have to have it done sometime.
I imagine you've got a plan of the place?
Yes?
Well, if I could see it, that would facilitate costing.
Well, of course, I'll see you get it.
Right.
I'm just off to a meeting with one of the printing unions. Just dropped in to see you were getting on all right.
Oh, well, excellently, thank you. Just catching up with our predecessor's methods. Hello there, Jeffries. I've got another little painting job for you.
There's a plan of the building here somewhere. Miss Drayton, look it up, will you, and see that Mr. Kennedy gets it.
Certainly, sir.
You were right. That shaft leads down from your office at Lodge's.
And of course I was right. The estate agents who once had the pleasure of employing me were asked to evaluate Lodge's property, and I saw a plan then. Now, this shaft leads straight down And it used to be used as a sort of dumb waiter years ago.
Well, it isn't very wide.
Well, it's no more difficult than a rock chimney, is it? Anyway, you're the climbing expert, aren't you, Jeffries?
Well, I think I can manage with bracing. We shan't need pitons.
Don't do that again.
Yes, it will be in here, sir. Now, what were the colours of the tie again?
A thin yellow, possibly gold stripe, then a broader claret one and a thin purple.
I see. Yellow or gold, you said? Not Ladies Hockey Wanderers of Dulwich?
No.
No. No, that's a broad colour. Hmm. Ah, here we are. Hosts.
I beg your pardon?
Honourable Officer Stockbroker Society, sir. Called Hosts. One of the City of London cricket clubs.
Yes, that'll be the one.
Yeah. The tie was originally designed by Lieutenant Colonel Matheson. The club has been disbanded now, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much.
I dare say Colonel Matheson will help you compile your book, sir. It's a good idea, a book on ties. Lots of stories. I'm sorry we can't give you his address.
Of course not, but the War Office will, I expect. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Kennedy. I'm the new secretary of the council.
Oh, how do you do, sir? I'm the foreman, Gregson.
Gregson, yes. I suppose Mr. Lodge would have shown me round, but I just thought I'd have a look on my own first. Didn't want to get in your way.
Don't worry about that, sir.
So, this is the private galley room, eh?
That's right, sir. We do all the stuff Mr. Lodge doesn't want run off in the main print shop.
Ah, the room of secrets, eh?
That's it. Unless you can read type upside down.
Well, let's see. Now, what's this? A new soap powder formula advertising campaign, eh?
Something a bit more important than that, sir.
Well, I don't suppose you're going to tell me any more than I'd leak ledger secrets to you, but, we'll tell you one thing. I've got some rather good news for you.
For me, sir?
Yes, I've been going over your tax position in the current financial year, and it seems you've been paying rather too much tax.
Got a rebate coming, have I?
Yes, about £15.
Oh, you must come here more often.
Yes. Well, I'd better be getting back now. I'll let you know about your rebate. Probably take a few days.
Right, sir. And thanks.
I say, Humphreys, I think we'll knock off for a bit. You know, you'd like to, I expect, wouldn't you?
Excuse me, Lieutenant Colonel Matheson.
Yes?
You're Harriet, are you?
That's right, sir.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Care for a pink gin?
Thank you.
Right, sit down. I say, would you mind holding my bat for me?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. So you're writing a book on ties, eh?
No, sir.
Huh? Made up an excuse, did you?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to find someone. Gerald Sean Kennedy.
That fella. Rank outsider. Well, here we are. Little drop of mother's ruin for you.
You and Kennedy were both in the same cricket club once, hosts.
Ah, well, we are. Not a bad bat, Kennedy. Quite unprincipled, you know. Captain. Some trouble with his mess funds once, I believe. You know, I'm very sorry when the old host broke up. All Kennedy's fault, you know.
Oh?
Chin chin.
Cheers.
You know, we had a ground in the City of London. Very exclusive, you know. Only one other like it, I believe. You know, land in the city. Pure gold, old boy, pure gold. Well, Kennedy found out who the ground landlords were and got up a syndicate and bought the place. And then, damn if he didn't sell it for development.
Why, he must have made a fortune.
Oh, gambled it all away, I believe. Typical.
You don't know where he is now?
Oh, fortunately not. I'd probably make a fool of myself if I did. Of course, I know where to get at him, but, you know, well, it doesn't seem worth the trouble somehow. A thing like that leaves a nasty taste in ours, what?
Yes. How would you get at him, Colonel?
Oh, bound to be records in the old cricket pavilion on our ground, you know. I know mine is. We used to keep records, you know, in case a chap had to call off suddenly.
I see.
Yes, I haven't the heart to go back there. Should do, I suppose. Hate to leave things unfinished, and I'd certainly like to tell Kennedy what I think of him.
Could I try the pavilion?
Not for me to say. It's probably all locked up. Has been for months. Here, have some more of this snake bite.
Oh, not too much.
Jeff!
Very lucky I happened to see him from my car, wasn't it? Very fortunate. What the devil were you two doing?
Let's put them down in the cellar with the rats. That'll keep them both quiet.
No, I want to keep an eye on them. Where were you when all this was going on, Major?
I was asleep. Davis was
No,
on
don't
duty.
shove it under me.
All right now, no muttering in the ranks. As the only genuine officer here, I suppose it's up to me to do all the thinking, but I do expect just a little bit of initiative. Right. Now, Captain Davis, you will find a suitcase outside. Bring it in. And you, get up. Now, how did you find this place?
Colonel Matheson. You and he used to wear the same club ties.
That's bright of you, my dear fellow. Now, that's the sort of thinking I'd expected from you and Davis. I'm very disappointed. You're rather second-team material, aren't you? Right. Private Davis. Put it down there. Thank you, Major. Now, Mrs. Harriet, these were intended for you, but they'll have to do for the Paris. Over here, please. Right hand, please, Mrs. Harriet. Thank you. Now, you, Private, can busy yourself unpacking my suitcase.
Look, I'm not your flaming Batman.
You'll do what you're flaming well, too.
Now watch it, Dave.
Well, I've just had about a belly full of you. I'm warning you.
£5,000 is enough to keep your temper for.
So he can stick his money.
Well, I want mine, so watch it. And if I find that bottle that you've been swigging from, I'll break your teeth in.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Only complaining about me, but still an army marches on its belly aching, doesn't it? Well, you rather overplayed your hand, haven't you?
Why?
Well, you see, it's a little uncomfortable to have an enemy out of sight, running around, planning, thinking. But now... Thank you, Major. Now, I can dispose of both of you at the same time. Sorry, things are a little primitive, not quite what you're used to, I know, but we couldn't let you have knives, you see.
You run a good line in class distinction.
Oh, do you hear that, Major? This is what's called attacking one side by making the other side resentful. You know, it's divide and conquer. Why, Mr. Herriot, what we have here is no more than any normal army establishment. We have the officers' mess, the sergeant's mess, and the defaulters, if you forgive the expression, Mrs. Herriot.
I'm getting cramp in my arm.
Well, we might arrange a little exercise for you later on, one at a time, of course. I know it's uncomfortable, but we can't afford to take chances.
You could give up, let us go.
You know, Kennedy, one of these days, whatever's controlling you is going to turn on you.
I do hope you're not going to start taking advantage of my good nature. I've treated you both very well so far. Please don't underestimate me. I've got a job to do, and I'm going to do it. People are so disappointing.
The others thought they'd succeed, too.
Mm. Yes, you two have rather interfered, haven't you? But as far as the others are concerned, I have a feeling that they rather underestimated you two. It's a common fault of amateurs.
And you're a professional?
Oh, my dear fellow, what else? Here you both are, under lock and key, so to speak. My assistants here are well-drilled, and the operation is very well underway.
Just what exactly are you doing?
Oh, of course you don't know, do you? It's really quite ingenious. You know that our Mr. Lodge has a contract to print examination papers? Not the schoolboy stuff, you know, this is the real thing. You see, the government has 15 research centres, and every so often they offer a test paper, a very, very stiff one, to postgraduate students covering a whole range of subjects, physics, chemistry, etc., etc., the development of the future professors of Britain. Now, 80% marks are considered only average, which means for the 3,000 or so students who sit, only about 30 or 40 get through.
1%.
Exactly. Oh, you're so good at these things, my dear fellow. Those who do pass are going to go into the research centres, of course.
Copy the exam papers and distribute them to the students.
Yes, something like that.
You haven't got to hope. You only need one student to explain what happened. They'll change the test paper.
Ah, but you see, the ones I've selected won't. They're the worst of the lot. They're the ones with little or no chance to pass. I'm going to see that they're the ones who succeed. Now, you just imagine a Britain in a few years' time with the majority of its professors and research experts being dull, inadequate, and wrong. Just think of the inventions we'll miss, the money wasted, the chances lost. Now, do excuse me, will you?
He can't get away with it, can he?
It's not impossible, but they have to take care of all of us.
Poor people.
We must have some plan. That's probably the only chance we've got. We must try and get Davis and Jeffries on our side.
Ah.
Everything going smoothly?
Yes, I think so, thank you.
I've had to ask Gregson to work overtime. Caught him in the right mood thanks to your tax rebate.
Oh, yes, yes. Why the overtime?
Oh, it's the M.V. test papers.
Test papers?
Haven't I told you about that? It's about the only really confidential work we do. I'm just waiting for the corrected proofs to come.
Ah.
People always want everything yesterday.
Yes. Incidentally, I've arranged about the decorators. Thought we might as well get it over and done with.
Good. Well, I'll leave that to you, Mr. Kennedy.
How long are the men working over?
Oh, they'll start about 6, I expect. The papers won't arrive till then. Finish, I hope, about 10 or half past. What I do is to arrange for a bit of supper for them at the pub round the corner. You might draw some petty cash for that, 10 shillings each.
Yes, yes, I'll see to that. What do they have, a 30-minute break?
Well, it's supposed to be. I like to be elastic. 3/4 of an hour.
Well, I'll see to it, Mr. Lloyd, then.
Good.
Right, Davis. Now imagine that I've just come down the shaft, and you're going to follow after me.
Yeah, all right.
Now, I'll hold the rope. Oh, what's the matter?
It's okay. I just missed the handhold, that's all.
For God's sake, will you stop missing?
Yeah, all right.
Major, a word in your ear.
What's going on?
Some change of plan, I suppose.
Perhaps something's gone wrong then.
For God's sake, Davis!
God, I think I busted it. Easy. Easy. Oh.
I told you, no drinking! Get him up! I told him no drinking, now look at him!
Well, his leg's broken.
I'll break his neck!
You'll need a doctor.
Will he, hell?
Well, it'll only take an hour.
All right, when he's being paid for this, he can have a whole hospital ward to himself. Now pick him up and carry him over there, and you put a rough splint on him.
Come on, now. Take it easy. Up you go. Steady now. Easy does it now. Easy, easy. Up you go.
Right.
Up.
Now, Florence Nightingale, no tricks.
There we are now. You think it's bad?
I don't know.
If you'd knotted the rope, it wouldn't have happened, would it?
All right, you know something about climbing?
A bit.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I must be out of my mind.
Now, look, Kennedy. I can't do this job on my own now.
Well, you won't have to. I've just found a replacement for Davis. Haven't I, Harriet? Now, we'll leave Mrs. Harriet here with Davis, and you'll have 30 minutes to get down the shaft, run off 2 copies of each page, clean off after you, and get back up again. And just remember, she is your good behavior record. I wouldn't advise you to spoil it.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Lodge.
Just thought I'd see that everything was going all right.
No, we're just going out for some supper. We haven't got on too badly. Another hour and a half should see us through.
Good. I promised everything would be ready for collection in the morning. I'll be glad to see it out of the way, frankly.
Yeah, I see Mr. Kennedy's having his room done up.
Yes? Tonight? I didn't know they were working tonight.
Right. There we are. I'm through. Now get those screws off that grill, Harriet.
You, Mr. Kennedy?
The man was suddenly free, so I thought we might as well get on with it.
Yeah.
How's it going downstairs?
Oh, they're making progress. They're just going off for supper. Well, I'll leave you to it. I thought there were 2 men.
Oh, my mate's hard at it inside.
Good.
Harriet? Yes, I suppose you were hoping he'd see you, weren't you? Bad luck, old man. Now remember, the hardest part is going to be cleaning up after you. Nobody must know anything's been touched.
The hardest part's going to be putting the grill back down below.
Yes, well, let's get on with it, shall we? 30 minutes and no more. Now, as soon as he secured the rope below, down you go.
Jeffries has told me what to do.
Yes, well, I'm telling you now. Don't forget your sister-in-law.
Thanks. You know, you're not taking this too badly for a girl.
You know, Kennedy's going to kill us all, don't you?
Don't make me laugh. Him.
You saw what he did to you when you fell.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know it yet, but that one kick of his is going to add another 1,000 to my price. I learned that from Jeff. Take the kicks, but make them pay later.
How much is he paying you?
5,000 each. It's not bad for a couple of nights here and a bit of a risk.
He hasn't got 500.
There we are. Take it easy. Right. Here's paper. Now bring me over the first one. Good. There we are, that's it. Yeah, that's the last of them. What was the number on the counter?
98.
You never give up, do you? It was 88.
There we are.
88. Right, up you go, Harriet.
That 10,000 is going to buy Jeff and me a lovely little boat. With the boat, you can do all sorts of things. Have you any idea how much the pinks and the reds are paying to get out of South Africa these days? Or how much you can get for a case of revolvers in Ghana?
Look, why don't you be like everybody else and do some work instead of playing on wars and rebellions and... Well, what are you, anyway? I tell you, Kennedy's going to kill all of us, all of us!
This will keep Kennedy sweet.
Well, how did it go?
What? Think I don't know old Lodge? He wasn't there to buy us any drinks, mate. He was there to keep us on the job. Oh, in the nicest possible way, of course.
Hey, what's that?
Well, I'm off myself now. Just thought I'd have a last look at all this secret work you're doing. Idle curiosity, eh? Well, good night.
Good night, sir. Well, let's get on with it.
Packed up, I suppose.
What? You mean he just passed out?
I told you.
You didn't hit him? Well, you can see he's not bruised or anything.
I just gave him some tea, that's all.
Well, he's right out.
Ah, look, don't worry about him, my dear fellow. I'll run to the hospital myself, but first a little celebration.
But look, Kennedy, this man's in some sort of a coma.
Nonsense, it's probably just the drink that's caught up with him. Come on, champagne cocktail to celebrate. Oh, incidentally, Harriet, you left that inside a printing machine. Bad luck, old man. Now, here we are.
Well, what's all this?
Well, this is the art of making a real champagne cocktail.
He's been drugged. He's been drugged.
Ridiculous.
Look at his eyes.
Look, don't be taken in by this. I told you, it's the old divide and conquer.
Maybe.
It couldn't have been the milk we used it in the tea.
The water, we both drank some. The sugar.
Nothing. No money. Nothing! I'm getting out of here.
What about us?
Too bad about you, chum.
Leave us the key, we'll give you an hour's start. Leave us here, we'll die of starvation.
Right. I need that hour.
He nearly got away with it, too.
Wonder how many others have got away with it.